Coming up next, I'm gonna give y'all this old prison folklore tale. Did the late night bandit really exist, or didn't he? Stay tuned to the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show. We're gonna talk about it.
His JS corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat the honey bun, don't drink the coke, don't become another victim.
Just go to sleep. Go to sleep. Stop fighting it. Stop fighting. It'll all be over in the morning. You won't remember a thing. Go to sleep. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Now, today we're going to talk about prison folklore. Yeah, y'all heard me. The stories that may or may not be true. Some of these stories are unverified and cannot be verified. And the people that would verify them won't, which only leaves it up in the air. Now, some stories, I gotta admit, definitely had to have been made up to scare, YNs and try and keep them out of prison and, stuff of that nature. But then there's some stories where they linger around the prison. Some stories where nobody ever got caught for certain heinous crimes, but the story still lingers around. So, whether it was passed down by a correction officer, an old head inmate, somebody that been there for a long time, what have you. But these stories exist for a reason, and we're going to get into it. One of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. You could say this was a campfire boogeyman story. Yeah. This should definitely scare the YNs to stay home and stay free. If you thought about committing the crime, just wait till you hear what I gotta say. The things that supposedly happen in prison. Now, an OG in the pod named Seymour would regularly gather people around in the day room, kind of like a circle, like we out in the woods at a campfire, and he finna tell some ghost stories. Only he didn't tell ghost stories. He told crazy prison stories. Now, everybody be in the day room, and it normally be, a little bit before the last lockdown, probably the last 20 minutes before we got locked in for the night. We go ahead around and get this story, and that was an entertainment. That's called beatdown. So, you went there expecting to hear some wild shit. You ain't expect to hear nothing that was true. You ain't care whether it was true or not. It was a good 20 minutes of entertainment. So, we went, listened to the beatdown. Now, Seymour, he told everybody, he warned everybody, listen, this story I'm going to tell y'all tonight, I'm not going to lie to y'all. This has not been confirmed, but I do believe it is true. This is not just folklore. I do believe it is true, and I do believe that the certain person in question is still locked up to this day in this prison. And they're like, what? Now everybody interested, like, oh, you got a story about somebody that's presently here in lockdown? And you're like, all right, chill, don't make too much noise. COs, come on over. All right, let's go, we're gonna get to it. You're like, yeah. Now, like I said, this cannot be confirmed, but the rumor has it that there's an inmate in the facility. They named him the Late Night Bandit. You heard me. The Late Night Bandit. Now, a lot of y'all probably thinking, well, if you ain't the nighttime cleanup guy or, somebody that has access to do something, outside of his cell after hours, how is he out after hours? Rumor has it, he had an in with a guard. And no lie, y'all, supposedly this man had his own key to his cell, where he could easily reach his hand through the bar and open his cell every night and slip on out. Not only did this man have his own key to his cell, he had access to certain medical, let's say, supplies that he shouldn't have. Yeah. The word is that this man had the stuff that knock you out, I forget what it's called, and a rag. And pretty much he was sneaking around the prison at night at random. And those keys, it's not like he had his own separate key. Those keys will open almost any door in that block. Word is he was running down on solo cells late night, knocking people out. Now, when I say solo cells, I'm talking about cells with demons in them, y'all. Because if you got a solo cell, that means you don't get along well with others. They got to house you separately. Or you did a crazy crime to warrant you having a solo cell. So this man would creep in on the late witching hours, 2, 3 in the morning, and creep right up into a cell with one of these crazy guys. And before they had time to react, before they fully woke up, he already done got that cloth around their face, knocking them out, telling them to go on to sleep and stop fighting. Now, a lot of y'all might think, well, how does this information spread if it was just them two in the room? Trust me, y'all. Information spreads. Now, of course, these inmates in the morning would know that they was assaulted, and they would definitely go to the hospital, the nurse, and get checked out. And all of them, they tested for that stuff that he used to knock them out. It goes in your bloodstream. So they tested positive for that stuff. So they knew there was somebody in the prison knocking people out with this substance. They could even see the cloth in their nasal, when they was breathing it in, the cloth from the rag, all that. But he'd get a different one each time. He had a real hookup. One of those COs was dirty, and he was taking advantage of it every single night. They said this man took advantage of a lot of people in those single cells. And it was already a single cell, so there was no point putting them in protective custody or anything like that. They just stayed there and dealt with it. And, they talked amongst themselves, the ones that had episodes, because I guess, the late night bandit was lying. They remembered everything in the morning. He told them go to sleep. They gonna forget about it in the morning. He was lying because they remembered, obviously. I mean, I think you would remember getting rammed from behind. That's crazy work. Well, word is this inmate was on the prowl again. And this story today was more like a PSA to y'all inmates. I just want to let y'all know, I heard this man is on the prowl again. So whether or not you owe him money, whether or not he like you, it don't matter. He'd take one of his friends, I heard. So be very, very mindful of where you are at all times. Stay awake if you have to. Keep a poker by your bedside, because this man don't play fair. And if he get behind you with that stuff, he gonna knock you out and take your ass. Simple as that. Now all the YNs, they over there wilding up, man, he ain't taking my ass. Hell no, man. That ain't happening. Alright, young gun. Alright. Keep on talking. You don't even know who he is. He could be one of us. He could be right here in this crowd. You have no idea. But you so tough, right? You so tough, YN. Alright. Hey, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly, boy. I'm telling you, mind your P's and Q's. Respect your elders, because karma comes back to you now. You're like, alright, old man, you going too far. Alright now, old man. We be letting you slide on a lot of stuff, but chill. Hey, you don't be trying to preach to me, old man. You in here just like I am. Yeah, but I'm sorry for what I did. You don't even give a damn. Hey, shut up, old man. Just keep telling stories, man. Damn, you always gotta turn some shit into some preaching shit. Damn, you ain't my daddy. So they exchanged a few words, and the OG Seymour was like, man, whatever. Let me get back to my story. Now, story goes, the late night bandit, he expanded his horizons. At one point in time, he decided that going after people in single cells wasn't enough. he was going to start going after random people. Well, not so much random, but people he didn't like. People he had a problem with. Supposedly, the late night bandit would catch a lot of guys slipping. When they would least expect it, he would pop up on them and produce that rag. And once he had that rag around their face, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. It didn't matter where they was at. He was dragging you off like a caveman. That's the type of timing that the late night bandit was on. The rumor says that he's assaulted at least 50 inmates in the prison. Now, of course, all 50 of those inmates aren't going to stay nothing. They're not going to get out and, yeah, it happened to me, it happened to me. But the ones that did, the ones that give a depiction of who could have possibly did it and how they feel and whatnot, those are the ones that get moved out of the prison. Those are the ones that claim something happened to them, but nobody knows who did it. So the only way to protect that inmate is to completely remove them from the prison. They get sent somewhere else so it could potentially happen again. Because once it happens once, it's going to happen again. Those predators are like sharks. They can smell it on you. They can smell another bandit done been in your tunnel. And it's disgusting. But y'all gonna find out. Old man Seymour tell him, y'all gonna find out. Y'all think I'm playing. Y'all think I'm playing. Y'all better watch yourselves around here. You never know who the bandit could be. And again, all them YNs like, yeah, alright, man, alright. And, you know, people starting to veer off. They're like, alright, he pretty much done with his story. So, everybody go back to the day room, doing what they're doing, getting ready for lockdown. And, boom, everybody in their cells for the night. Now, we're going to fast forward this story a little bit, y'all. Just for your listening entertainment, I'm going to fast forward this story a little bit because I think most of y'all should by now already know where I'm headed with this story. Well, if you don't, keep listening. Come on. We're going to get there. Now, it's about, I guess, 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody is sound asleep. Well, everybody should be sound asleep. But supposedly, y'all, the late night bandit strikes again. Supposedly, there was a bandit in another pod last night, striking a single cell inmate. I guess this bandit wanted to let people know he still exists, that he's still real, that he still got it. And that was the big news flying around the prison. Somebody got last night, man. That bandit back on the loose. That bandit back on the loose, man. And everybody like, man, y'all capping, man. That's some BS somebody made up. Y'all capping. That same YN that had words with Seymour the other day. Y'all ain't on nothing, man. Y'all scared. Y'all scared of a bandit. Y'all got all them muscles for nothing. Like, all right. Let him come over here. Let him come over here and try me. I bet he won't. Now, they say, people, a lot of times the ones that get backdoored normally get backdoored by who? They own people or people that they familiar with in their circle. So, y'all, one moral of this story is keep all of the circles tight. Don't let no squares try and squeeze in your circle. Because when you do that, you fall victim to everything around you. And the things around you only want to take from you and harm you. Ain't nothing around you trying to help you. So here we go, y'all. Another night going down in the books. Another story told. Another game of cards played. And it's off to lockdown for the night. For some inmates, but for some inmates that happen to have a key to their cell, it's not lockdown. It's playtime. And they wait till the witching hour, y'all. They wait to the witching hour when most of the inmates are sleeping because they can commit the most craziest crimes known to man. Now, that YN, he didn't have a clue what was going to happen to him. He's in there knocked out 3 o'clock in the morning. And lo and behold, that creeper, that late night bandit slipped into his cell. And he was just quiet enough to sneak right down to that bunk and put that stuff on his face before he had a chance to let off a word. He got drugged out of that cell before his cellmate could even notice he was gone. Yeah. Dragged him out of that cell, dragged him to a back corner where the mop bucket stayed. And once he was knocked out, well, y'all already know the business. Y'all know what happened to that YN. Got his cheeks clapped in a mop bucket sink. Yeah. Bent over a mop bucket sink. He got his cheeks clapped right next to the dirty mop bucket. Yeah. And you know what? Supposedly, y'all, the bandit was so bold, he left him there. Didn't even drag him back to his cell. Yeah. And supposedly, he left that key in his back pocket. Left his pants down to his ankles, hunched over that sink, with his head in the damn sink, knocked out. Leaking from his backside. Got his cheeks took, y'all. Just for talking shit. And I know y'all like, well, wait a minute. What you mean talking shit? Talking shit to who? Well, y'all, in the morning, it was confirmed. The old man that was telling the stories, Seymour, well, apparently he was the late night bandit. Yeah. And when they came and they pulled him out of his cell and cuffed him up, he said, I don't regret nothing. I'm glad I did it. And I'll do it again. Young boy better watch his mouth. Watch your mouth next time, young boy. And that's what, he yelling at him the whole time they taking him away. And they're like, dang. OG was the bandit? That's crazy. He been sleeping in his pod forever. Who would have known it was him? The OG just couldn't take it no more. The one time he decided to get his get back without proper planning like he normally does was the one time he got caught. And well, y'all, that was the last time we seen the OG. As for the YN, well, he ended up wearing a diaper because supposedly the OG went overtime on him. Normally, OG wasn't trying to hurt nothing. But this guy, with all the lip, he was trying to hurt. And he definitely hurt him to the point where he had to wear a damn diaper. Alright, y'all, listen. That was just a quick story. I really hope you liked it. Like, share, subscribe. Get in the comment box. Get active. Let me know what you think, y'all. Do you believe in prison folklore? Do you believe in these kind of myths? Let me know what you think, people. Do you think these bandits really exist? And that a correctional officer would really give someone a key to let themselves out late night and go assault other inmates? Like some kind of sick gang? What do you think, people? Get in the comment box and let me know something. Alright, this was the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner, and I'm out.
His SAS corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat the honey bun, don't drink the coke, don't become another victim or the butt of a joke. Don't close both eyes when you sleep or get choked. When you go to the mess hall, sit with your team, cause if you sit with some punk boy, you can get seen, then you can get dealt with. Prison justice like you never felt it. I be taking y'all back to stories of the helpless. That lava I spit, get your boys' stories melted. I spit about prison justice cause I dealt it. And you a real hater if you can't respect it. All that bullshit, yeah, I'm here to check that. Any confrontation, I'ma show up. Bet that. You a real hater, I'm here to